Hello Capricorn, my name is Paul, and this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. And this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And if there is anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Okay. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. A Four of Cups. A Four of Cups is you right now. And I think that's good. I think this is, kind of the feeling of being comfortable, being in a familiar zone, right? Let's put this into some context. Oh, okay, well, this is kind of us stepping into an unfamiliar zone. All right, okay. Oh, a lot of major Arcana cards already, my goodness. I don't think this has ever happened before. We have almost all major Arcana on the path of the dove. This is intense. And we have the Lust card, which was our daily tarot card for today. Wow. Let's finish up here. Path of the Serpent. There's the Cancer energy. More major Arcana. Yeah, this is something else. Okay, we're going to select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is one card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. We're not going to look at it. We're just going to set it down. We'll put Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. Now, that card we're going to reveal at the end, but we're doing something a little different here. We're trying to be more interactive. So if you get a sense, a feeling, an intuition about that card, you think you know what it is, I want you to type your answer into the comment section, okay? I'm trying to see if we can collectively raise our vibrations, if we can collectively tap into spirit, tap into source, and try to discern that mystery card together, okay? If you don't want to play along, that's okay. There will be a moment of stillness at the end of the reading where we can all provide our final answers, as it were, and then we'll reveal the card. But first, look at all this major Arcana. Major. That is a lot. Doesn't leave much else left, right? It leaves a little bit of water, a little bit of fire, a little bit of air. We don't have any earth. I think the earth is kind of what's coming after all of this. I feel like you're in this Four of Cups energy right now. And this might be a feeling like you're kind of comfortable where you are, right? It's you may feel inclined to stay home. You may feel inclined to stay where things are familiar, right? It's a comfortable feeling. I think this is you being patient, right? I think that you've not been idling, but you've been kind of anchored in place for a little bit. Now, with the Four of Cups, I always use the analogy or the metaphor of like a sailboat, right? The boat's not sinking, but the boat's not sailing off to, adventure time either. We're just kind of anchored where we are. We're in a nice, safe position. We're in a nice bay or a cove somewhere. And we're just hanging out. Nothing really is going on, right? And we're okay with that. There's a patience with that. There's a familiarity. It feels comfortable. It's nice, okay? It's not great, but there's nothing really wrong either, okay? So I think this is kind of a patience right now. But I think big changes are coming. I think while you're here, you should start preparing yourself. All of this major Arcana, almost every single one of these says big changes are coming. Big changes are coming. Just the Fool and the Eon, big changes are coming. The Death card, big changes are coming. The Lust or Strength card showing that, yeah, you're going to have you're going to have to really kind of step it up and take charge of this thing. It's going to be a wild ride. I think it's going to be intensely successful. I think that we're going to have to leave a lot of maybe our old thinking, our old feeling even behind. Okay? There's some letting go that needs to take place. In our preparations for this tremendous liftoff, really, I think we're going to have to lighten the load. We're going to have to get rid of some baggage that we don't really need anymore. Okay? So with the Four of Cups, I think this is a good time while things are still relatively calm and quiet. Let's get prepared. Yeah. Let's make sure we got what we need. Let's make sure we don't pack what we don't really need. Okay? It kind of feels like the mothership's coming to take us home, right? There's a lot going on here. Let's look at some of these other cards. I think I like the Fool and the Hanged Man here, because this is kind of like one of the ways that we're preparing is maybe we are trying to relieve some stress. Maybe there is something that's kind of putting you in this Hanged Man position, this feeling of being tied down, this feeling of just being, maybe we feel a little bit stuck. Yes, maybe it is familiar and comfortable, but part of this preparation is to find out what might be keeping us here. What is this anchor? This kind of looks like an anchor, right? If you look at it, maybe you cross your eyes a little bit, kind of looks like an anchor, right? So this could be some stress. It could be some kind of issue, something that's tying us to where we are, something holding us down like an anchor, okay? And this card is all about suffering, but also of sacrifice. Now, have we been sacrificing our progress because of someone or something else? Do we feel, not guilty, but do we feel responsible for something else or someone else maybe? Maybe you're taking care of someone, or maybe you feel obligated to stay in this Four of Cups, in this cove, in this familiar, relatively comfortable place. Maybe you feel a little bit stuck. Something is weighing you down. An obligation or a feeling or something like that. Okay? I think what I see on the central horizontal path here, as we have the Eon card, we have the Hanged Man to the Eon leads to, well, this kind of freedom, right? This frivolity, this carefree kind of release almost. Okay, so I think we have maybe here, we have some ways to relieve stress rather than pile on more. Okay, because we have this idea of kind of being tied down, being anchored, being weighted down. And then here with the Fool, we have the exact opposite. We have freedom, we have lightness, we have liftoff, we have just this airy kind of feeling. These two cards are very different, right? This is more weight dragging you down, and this is less weight. This is allowing you to rise, to kind of float off into the distance, right? Like a balloon. And the central card, this Eon, is kind of a creative way, because the Eon here, especially in the Thoth deck, talks about it being a new era for you. It literally talks about the old ways don't work anymore. We have to find new ways to grow, new ways to expand, new way to enter our future of freedom, of opportunity, of creativity, of spirituality. We have to find creative and constructive ways to release this anchor and move into freedom. Okay? I like that very, very much. I think this is a really good message. I think also, like with the Fool, we have this idea of traveling light, right? The Fool is just kind of a wanderer, just like one knapsack. So it has this feeling to me of maybe we need to downsize. Maybe we need to declutter, right? Maybe we need to minimize not only our possessions, but our emotional, intellectual baggage, right? It reminds me of the 27th hexagram that I was studying last night, which we had in a different reading a few days ago, which is the mouth or the jaws, right, is the name of it's nourishment is the name of the hexagram. And the question was asked in study of that hexagram, what are we consuming? What are we putting in our mouth? Are we aware of what we're consuming? Not just not just eating, right? Not just food, mental food, emotional food, right? What are we taking in through all of our inputs, right? Our eyes, our ears, and our mouth. So there's the idea of, everything that we look at, everything we read, everything we hear, everything we think, right? It's all nourishment in some way. Is it empty calories? Or are we really consuming nutrient-dense food, right? As far as what we consume, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay. So with the Fool energy here, and yeah, because it's the Fool, we're going to have to select a hexagram for this reading as well. Real fun stuff here. With this minimizing, we're reducing. It's kind of this less is more attitude. But if we're getting rid of all the frivolous things in our lives, right? Yeah, we all have our guilty pleasures. I like to watch this. There's this Navy SEALs show that I like to watch. My wife just thinks it's horrible. She laughs at me because I like it, but I like it, I'm not a military person, though. I very often wonder what my life would be like had I joined the military. I have tremendous respect for our military personnel. Thank you for your service if you're watching right now. But I love that show, right? It's a guilty pleasure. And we all have those. But if I was consuming nothing but guilty pleasures, I don't know how nourished I would feel. So we have to be aware of what we're putting into our minds and our bodies. And I think the Fool is a perfect card for that, perfect energy for that. Trying to be aware. I'm not saying you have to stop watching your favorite guilty pleasure TV shows or stop having your favorite dessert or anything like that. Just to be aware of what we're doing while we're doing it. And maybe adjust the ratio, right? If I'm watching too many of these ridiculous TV shows, maybe I need to focus more on study and reading my many, half-finished books. But let's do that I Ching card now, since we're talking about the Fool. Okay. And we have these I Ching cards. These cards contain the 64 hexagrams, which encapsulate the wisdom of the ancient Chinese sages. And yes, I know that this is not the proper way of casting a hexagram. But the yarrow stalks that I have, that method would take too long to do. I do also use the bead method, which maybe I'll have to bring my beads to the next reading. I think the bead method captures the statistical accuracy of the yarrow stalks. So to me, it feels like I'm still at least in the realm of tradition, right? Even though I think tradition usually uses the coins, which I have the coins, but I don't like the coin method, I'll be honest with you. I like the yarrow stalks, but for the sake of brevity, maybe we should use the beads here. So maybe next time we'll do the beads. But for now, we have the cards, so that's what we're going to use. And the I Ching likes to tell you whether you've been the Fool or the Sage, and how you can become a little bit more of the other if you're leaning too far to one side, right? So I like to use an I Ching hexagram anytime we get the Fool card here. And that's the one, 3, sprouting. Sprouting. From the source, creating success, constancy bears fruit. Don't use this to have a direction to go. Fruitful to establish feudal lords. I like this because it says, don't use this to have a direction to go. Yeah, the Fool is that card that we always say doesn't have a direction. right? The Fool hasn't yet refined the air energy. This is pure air, undifferentiated air, undifferentiated spirit. It is undefined, okay? And it's in the future. So I feel like we're preparing for something. We don't exactly know what it is yet, but it's kind of this return to the mothership. It's this liftoff. It's this next era, this new eon ahead of us. And yeah, we don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be powerful. We know that. That differentiation will come later on. Here's that ace. The Ace of Swords is the direction, but don't use the Fool to have direction. The Fool is kind of saying this is how we prepare and this is how we move forward. We'll refine our plans in a little while. We just have a few more cards to go, right? I'll try to hurry up. The text on the back says, like a plant, putting out roots in all directions, the inner life reaches out into the world, experiencing resistance for the first time. The creative drive of heaven and earth joins together and grows, bursting with life and desire to fulfill. It's too early to limit possibilities, so strengthen your resolve, gather support, human or otherwise, to help expand your awareness and influence. What is beginning? Where is the growing center, and where can you find help for it? I really like this. So this is kind of what we need to do. We're just starting, we're just, a sprout, right? It's just a little bit of the plant that bursts through the soil. And I feel like we're just about to do that here. And we've been patient, and we're preparing, and we're just about to sprout, right? I love that. I love plants. So we talked about the Fool. We have this energy with the Fool. I like this. We need to, perhaps we do need to connect with others who might be of benefit here, because it does say, gather support, human or otherwise. Well, maybe that's what we're doing here with these two major arcana. First within us is the Libra energy, the Justice card, or adjustment. And see, this card has an Ace of Swords on it. So this is the desire, I think, that we have within us, because this card's down below in the underneath, or in the kind of within us position. We have this desire to connect with like-minded individuals, right? The Ace of Swords is the like-mindedness, right? People who kind of are on the same page as us, who want the same things, or believe the same things, or who can encourage us, can reinforce what we see outwardly, the Lust or Strength card. We want our relationships and our partnerships to strengthen our resolve, to encourage us, to reinforce our drives and our ambitions and our goals. We want that support. And if the people in our lives are not supportive of our goals, are not supportive of us stepping into our power and taking advantage of this liftoff, then I think they need to go, and we see some of that on the path of the Serpent, especially with that Death card. So I like that we have these two, top and bottom, right? Inside and outside. Inside, there's this desire to connect with people who have the same Ace of Swords as us, and whether that is just people who have they're doing the same work, that have the same ambitions, that maybe believe the same things you believe, that are of like mind in some way. Even if that means that maybe you're doing completely different things, but they are just as ambitious as you are, even though maybe they're doing something totally different, right? Because the Lust or Strength card in the external world is this robustness, is this zest for life. This, it's the awareness that you have the capacity to create whatever, to create this thing, this life, this future, right? Whatever this liftoff sends you off into. You have the power to control that ship, to control the trajectory and to create the kind of world that you want. This is a card that requires you to take charge of yourself, of your creative power, of your magic, right? And this is something that you would put your entire heart and soul into. This is something that when you wake up in the morning, you feel this bursting passion. You can't wait to get started doing whatever this is, right? Maybe it's a career shift. Maybe it's something in your spiritual, creative life. Maybe it's a family thing. Maybe you could be moving. It could be a lot of different things. But this is that enthusiasm that you feel when you wake up in the morning. You can't wait to get started on this. You found your passion. You feel your passion when you're engaged in this work or when you just even merely think about it. And we want to connect with others who feel the same way about what they do. We can we gas each other up, right? And then there's no limit. There's no limit to what we can accomplish. So it doesn't mean that you're just seeking out only those people that agree with you. You're seeking out people that have that same strength that you're looking for, that you are harnessing, right? With the lust card or strength card, you want to pluck your star out of the sky. In a literal way, you feel that you're strong enough to do that, that you're large enough to do that. And you want to connect with people who also feel that way. They're not plucking your star out of the sky, they're after their own. But you want that kind of person in your life with you. Okay. Now we should move over to the path of the serpent and talk about the 10 of Wands. That something on this I Ching card reminded me of the 10 of Wands. Let's see. Experiencing resistance for the first time, the creative drive of heaven and earth joins together and grows. See, this is a card too with the two wands at the front, right? This tells me that it is kind of this energetic partnership that we're looking for, or that maybe we're finding. Maybe this is kind of what's going to set all of this in motion, right? There is this interesting kind of theme here with finding the other. Okay, so this is not, sometimes the 10 of Wands can talk about codependency. I don't feel that. I feel more of an interdependence. Yeah. I feel like that we are finding someone that doesn't have to be romantic or anything like that. It could be a business association. It could be a friend, a family member, any kind of partnership. That is really going to, it's like we're going to strengthen each other. You know, your best qualities brings out their best qualities, and it's a powerful combination. Bursting with life, it says here. Strengthen your resolve and gather support, human or otherwise, to help you expand your awareness and your influence. And that's what I'm feeling with this. I feel like this is the kind of gathering of all of those forces. You know, the 10 of Wands in the Rider-Waite-Smith, it shows one person carrying 10 staffs, right? Just a huge bundle of sticks on their back. They're not looking where they're going. They're just hauling it, right? And when I see that, I always think we need to share the load, right? We need to delegate some of this. We need to either make 2 trips, right? Or we need to solicit some help. We need to get others involved in this so that we can carry even more sticks. Imagine if you're carrying 10, someone next to you is carrying 10. Or if you just split it and you each carry 5, right? Seems much more efficient. So I like this card in terms of cooperation, in terms of an energetic cooperation, not necessarily trying to negotiate or compromise or come up with a plan. It's more of a creative and energetic partnership than it is like an intellectual one, right? This is also a card that says, again, to prepare, to get ready for this intense surge of energy, because if you're not prepared, it might be overwhelming. The 10 is a very, very powerful card. Right? This is the rocket booster that's strapped to your chair, and if you're not strapped in, if you're not buckled up tight, it's going to take you for a ride. Okay, I think there is this huge surge of spiritual creative energy coming into your life, not only because we have a lot of the fiery cards, but just the sheer amount of spiritual energy, of major arcana cards here. I mean, I could talk for 3 hours about this spread, but trying to keep the videos a little bit shorter than they have been in the past. Now, we have this Cancer energy in the position of your environment. And this happens quite often with you, where we get the Cancer energy. So I don't know, maybe this is a Cancer person in your life. What I kind of think is that maybe this other that we're looking for or waiting for, that we need to kind of join forces with, is none other than your shadow, your complementary but unconscious nature, because Cancer and Capricorn are at opposite ends of the astrological wheel. This is your alter ego. This is your shadow self. Could be a Cancer person that you know or that you will meet. Okay? But even if that's the case, even if you do meet with a Cancer person in real life, that person's going to be, in some ways, you're going to be projecting your shadow onto them. You're going to be projecting your kind of alter ego onto them. Now, if you're keen enough and you're aware enough, it's not going to be a rejection of that energy. It's going to be a welcoming of that energy. You know, usually you project your shadow onto someone, and that's a reason why you don't like them, right? But in this case, I think you'll recognize that. And you'll see that this other person, if it does manifest as a person, it will be the exact complement to your current energy, that it's going to just be a perfect mesh, right? That the aspects of your personality and the aspects of their personality are going to fill the gaps in to each other, right? So I think it might actually turn out that way. I think it might actually manifest as a Cancer person. If you find that now don't go out looking for Cancer people that can set this energy off, but when someone new comes into your life that you feel a strange connection with, right? Over time, you may find out that they have a pretty strong Cancer placement somewhere, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be a solar Cancer or anything like that. But they will have some strong planets in their sign of Cancer, maybe even Saturn or something, right? Okay, so the next card, we've got to talk about the Death card. It's in the position of what we don't want, because this is the parting that is such sweet sorrow. This is us having to let go of things, and where this is calling all the way back to the beginning of the reading with this anchor. Whatever might be keeping us earthbound, keeping us from escaping the gravitational pull of the earth, right? We're trying to reach this, we're trying to lift off, but we're being weighed down by something over here. I think it's time with this Death card that we really are prepared to say goodbye to things that no longer nourish us in the right way, right? I'm talking this Fool energy now. We're still in this idea of, minimizing, decluttering, the less is more, downsizing ourselves, really. So we have to be prepared to let things go that aren't serving this purpose anymore, that we can't take with us to this next level, okay? And that's not always an easy process. This is the difficulty. That's why this card is in the position of what we don't want, the difficulty, the fear, worry, concern. We don't want it, but we need it. Okay, we need it. And once we're light enough to really lift off, then this is this looks like a rocket ship going. It looks like one of those SpaceX rockets. Just blasting off, right? Reaching above the clouds and still just keep going higher and higher. And once we once we have this liftoff, right? Once this thing gets underway, I think we'll have the opportunity to start refining our trajectory. What exactly are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And we can start kind of writing out a plan, right? Drawing up the blueprints here. But again, like the I Ching says, now this is not, don't use this to have a direction to go, it says, with the Fool energy. So we have that air with the Fool. Now we're starting to split the air up. We're starting to move the pieces around. We're starting to separate the air energy and refine into a plan, into a structure, into a navigational chart, right? We're starting to plot a course. So this is a lot of intense energy for you. This is pretty nice. I want to look at the mystery card now. I don't want this video to run too far over. Thank you, Jimbo, a.k.a. Mr. Wizard, Mr. Lizard, the Lizard King. This is the moment of the reading where I'll ask you to try to connect with these images, with these energies. And if you want to play along, type your answer into the comment section, what you think this card will be. I'm getting some water energy. I'm getting like I don't know, maybe a 2 or a 3 of cups, maybe an Ace of Cups. I don't think we're quite ready for like a 9 or a 10 of Cups, maybe though. I'm feeling something a little bit closer to source, something that's still as yet very simple. It hasn't split up and kind of multiplied into the 9 or 10 cups. That we're still in a very simple state of maybe just 2. If you put your answers in. Okay. Oh, well, even better than the water energy is a Wheel of Fortune. See, I wasn't very accurate on this one. But we do have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is some very strong Jupiter energy. And the day this video comes out is Thursday, right? The day of Jupiter. So this is very auspicious. I think this is the timing of the thing. It might be today, the day that you're watching this. It might be the day that this really starts to open up and lift off and take off, and this energy is really, it's really coming. This is the cosmic wristwatch. This is, Spirit's timepiece, as I like to say. Everything happens at the exact right moment. Okay. So if this is maybe a day that you're going to connect with somebody who could really help you, really assist you energetically with whatever this is going to become, right? Whatever this work is, it doesn't have to be career, it could be anything. Right? This is very good. Very auspicious card here. This is better than the 2 of Cups because we already kind of talked about, I think, everything that we need to do to prepare. Now we just need the green light. Now we just need to know, when is this going to happen, right? Let's get prepared right now because maybe today or a week from today, you're going to see this really start to unfold. This is very, very exciting. Capricorn, we're going to do an extended. If you want to stick around, click either above or below in the description box to the video. New Capricorn readings every Thursday and Sunday at 6 a.m. Chicago time. I want you to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next reading. I want to thank you for watching this video all the way through until the end. That really helps the algorithm, and that's good for the channel. Okay, keeps us growing. I want you to remember that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're in this together.